Heaven Official's Blessing. Chapter 53. Audio source: wuxia-world-audiobook.com. Truth or deception? Difficult to discern. Xie Lian shouted. Shi Rong, you shut your mouth. Qianqiu turned his head angrily. Why does he have to shut up? Because what he said is the truth? In that gilded banquet, Yuan and Le both struck. One killed my entire family, and the other finished the blow to my father. You're all lying to me? Xie Lian responded hurriedly. Don't listen to Shi Rong cut in. Of course it's all a lie. You're so stupid. If not you, then who else do we deceive? If not for some random spoiling our plans, Qianqiu would have already taken your fucking life at the age of 12, instead of giving you the luxury to grow up and ascend. 12. Qianqiu repeated. The biggest thing that happened when he was 12 was that kidnapping, saved by Xie Lian. He demanded. That year, the muggers who intruded the palace to kidnap me was sent by the people of Qianqiu. Duh. Shi Rong clicked his tongue. Did you think any ordinary assassins can just kidnap the crown prince from hundreds of royal guards? Please. I was the one who helped Enla on that. Qianqiu nodded. Helped? Good. I understand. So my friends are all fake. The people of Qianqiu never cared for our amity. Your prince Enla never possessed good intentions, and instead came for our lives. He turned to Xie Lian. So, everything you told me was false too. Shi Rong pretended to look surprised. Come, hurry and let me hear what my saintly cousin told you. Qianqiu ignored him and continued to address Xie Lian. You said Yang'an and Qianqiu were but one nation at their roots. Whatever conflicts the royals had with each other had nothing to do with civilians. Both sides used to be one family, and under our generation's rule, there could be changes for the better. As long as the people were happy, it didn't matter what the royal house was named, and both sides could let go of their grudge and unite in time. All that was false. All nonsense, bullshit, lies. This was what Xie Lian didn't want to hear the most. He cried immediately. No, it's not false. Think, under your rule, weren't there real changes? Qianqiu closed his mouth, his breath held. Xie Lian continued. Didn't you do really well? Didn't the remnant citizens of Qianqiu integrate peacefully with the people of Yang'an? There were less and less conflicts and riots, so how could any of it be false? There was a moment of silence, and tears rolled down Qianqiu's cheeks. But what about my parents? Yang'an and Qianqiu uniting was their greatest wish. That's why they granted the princely title Enla to your last royal bloodline. Their wish came true, but what at their end? Shi Rong clicked his tongue. What a whiny crybaby, just like my saintly cousin once upon a time. You came crying for your old man, old hag. I haven't even fucking harassed your ancestors for my old man and old hag. Fucking uniting Yang'an and Qianqiu was their wish? What pretty words. Enla, one Enla, settle first, joy after. You think I can't tell it means you Yang'an dogs want to walk all over the heads of Qianqiu for the rest of our lives? Xie Lian yelled angrily. Shi Rong, stop your madness. Qianqiu on the other hand, glared at Shi Rong, tears still falling from his eyes. You're the mastermind behind the massacre of my clan? And you're part of the plot behind the gilded banquet too? Shi Rong snickered. Yes, I'm part of it. Enla was part of it too. And your master. Us three people of Qianqiu all made part. Ha! Suddenly, halfway throughout his laugh, Qianqiu's long sword abruptly swung down and struck. Shi Rong yelped, and his person was sliced into two. It was an exceedingly gory scene. Both halves of his bodies were rolling around the ground, and his upper body cried, "It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt one bit. Compared to that punch from cousin Crown Prince, you're nothing." Qianqiu didn't say a word, grabbed him by the head and picked it up. Shi Rong was still spouting insults, but Xie Lian had noticed something off with Qianqiu's expression and said hurriedly, Xie Rong, stop talking if you value your life. Xie Lian always treated others with kind respect, yet Xie Rong was someone that couldn't be faced normally. He knew this, so every time he faced him, Xie Lian didn't want to be polite at all, and unconsciously became rude himself. Qianqiu dragged Xie Rong's upper body and came to the giant boiling, bubbling cauldron. Do you usually use this cauldron to cook humans? Having been dragged around, Xie Rong's bloodied carcass drew a thick trail of blood on the ground. Yes, so? Without another word, Qianqiu let go of his hold. Aha! It was hard to discern whether if Xie Rong was screaming or laughing, and the moment he was dropped into that cauldron, his flesh was instantly burnt and boiled to mush. Xie Lian had not expected this development. His pupils shrank and he blurted, "Qianqiu." Qianqiu responded sharply, "What? How many people has the green ghost Xie Rong eaten? We can't teach him what it feels like to be cooked. He's the enemy that murdered my clan. Am I not allowed to make him suffer?" Of course he could. So, Xie Lian couldn't say anything, and he also had no right to say anything. Yet, no matter as the crown prince of a mortal kingdom, or the martial god of the east of heaven, Qianqiu had never done a thing such as this. He had always been straightforward in fights and never used any cruelty. These actions were far from the Qianqiu Xie Lian knew. After being thrown into the boiling water, after a while when Xie Rong was fished up, his body no longer retained the shape of human and instead resembled a melted lump of skin and flesh, bones poking out in some areas terrifying to behold. Yet he seemed quite pleased and was still guffawing. "Congratulations, cousin. Look at your good disciple. His wings have hardened. He's cruel and knows how to torture now." Qianqiu released his hold again, and Xie Rong was once again submerged into the bubbling cauldron. This time when he was dropped, it seemed even his bones were dissolved by the boiling liquid. Xie Rong didn't float up again, and only remnants of some green cloths emerged on the surface. After a while, having still not seen his shadow, Xie Lian couldn't help but call out, "Xie Rong." His younger cousin, who once upon a time couldn't shut up about his cousin the crown prince, had idolized him and praised him for everything he did. However, after the fall of Qianqiu, he had turned into a madman completely. He led the burning of his temples, the desecration of his palaces, and commissioned the kneeling crown prince statues everywhere, affixing them as thresholds. To make Xie Lian suffer, he could do anything. Xie Lian had done his best to put up with that behavior, and if it involved others, he'd do his best to obstruct. Until finally when he could no longer tolerate it, he could only keep away and practice out of sight, out of mind. Afterwards, they'd lost touch for many years, and Xie Lian thought Xie Rong had passed away. Who knew that after so long he would suddenly meet a figure of the past and see that face that so resembled his? He really couldn't tell whether if there was any feelings of nostalgia or remorse. After all, the only ones left from the royal house of Qianqiu were them two. But they hadn't even seen each other for that long before he died before him, and he was even cruelly killed by a Qianqiu who couldn't even use wooden rods to punish. So much happened in such a short period of time. Xie Lian hadn't even sorted the thoughts in his head, his heart a mess. Qianqiu stood next to the cauldron with his head lowered, unspeaking. Just then, Cheng spoke up. "He didn't die." Qianqiu raised his head to look at him. Cheng continued, "You don't think this is actually revenge? You only killed one of his many clones. If you want to exterminate him completely, you need to find his ashes." "Thanks for reminding me," Qianqiu said coldly. "I will definitely capture him with my own hands and use his ashes to pay respects to my esteemed father and mother. When that happens, I will come and tie things up with you. Head priest, don't you dare think about running away." As he ended his words, he gripped his longsword and struck, slashing the cauldron, and turned abruptly to walk away. Boiling water spilled from the cauldron, and liquid filled with slithers of bones poured onto the ground. Xie Lian wanted to chase after him, but he knew that it wouldn't be of use. He braked in his step and stopped, standing still, unable to speak. Hua Cheng approached him. He just found out the truth, so it's better to let him be by himself and cool down. Xie Lian was dumbfounded. Why must he know the truth? Was the truth that important? Very important, Hua Cheng replied. He need to know what was done by you and what wasn't, and why you had to do what you did. Xie Lian turned around in a fit and said coldly, "What's the use of knowing everything so clearly? Would I be any more blameless if I killed less people? Would things be less hard?" Hua Cheng didn't respond. A burst of anger rolled up from Xie Lian's chest, and he didn't even know who to be mad at. He blurted, "And what shitty hardship have I experienced? His Majesty the King had always wanted to integrate the two clans. Did I not kill him? Prince Enla was the last to my family's bloodline. Did I not kill him? No matter what, it's all my fault. So if all the blame goes to me, what's wrong with that? What's there to be afraid of? Whatever comes at me, I can't die anyway. I did this. I bring misfortune. And now I've brought it to Prince Enla, to Shi Rong, and to everyone in Qianqiu. Is it not better to hate one instead of all? Must he think that everything I taught him was false, and nothing more than empty bullshit?" Hua Cheng watched him quietly and didn't argue. The two stared at each other, and suddenly Xie Lian covered his face with his hands. I'm sorry, San Lang. I've gone mad. I'm sorry. It's nothing. It's my fault," Hua Cheng said. "No, you're not at fault. This is my problem." Xie Lian dropped to the ground and sat, holding his head. What a mess. What a disastrous mess. After a moment, Hua Cheng sat down next to him. "You weren't wrong." Xie Lian held his head and said nothing. Hua Cheng continued. "The king of Yangyan was killed to protect the remaining people of Qianqiu. Prince Enla was killed to prevent the two clans from fighting. In the end, to die in the hands of Qianqiu, the murder faced justice. 3 lives exchanged centuries of peace. It's worth it. If it was me, I would have done the same. Listen to me." His voice was firm with no room for doubt. "You weren't wrong. No one could have done it better than you." Xie Lian was quiet. After some time, he finally said, "I just don't think it's right." He slowly lifted his face. "I just don't think it's right for someone to have been kind but received a bad end. Even if it's fake, I wanted Qianqiu to remember that his benevolence to Qianqiu would be reciprocated. Doing the right thing will open endless paths. Not like now, where he thinks everything I told him, everything he believed in, were all false, lies, deception. That everything was fucking bullshit. He raised his right hand, and said while looking at it, "I don't want to see anyone go through what I've gone through." Hua Cheng listened silently. Xie Lian felt self-conscious about the vulgar words he used and apologized again. "I'm sorry, but look how incredibly silly things are in this world. The first few generations of Yang'an rule was filled with violence and cruelty, but none died in tragedy. When it came to Qianqiu's parents, all they wanted was to do some good, do something great, but ended the way they did. The king of Yang'an honored him as the head priest, and treated him with the utmost respect. Even at the end of his life, he passed on without any signs of that trust dispersing." Xie Lian's eyes looked far-ahead but unfocused and whispered, "I really can't forget the look on his face when my sword penetrated him." Hua Cheng said softly, "Forget about it. That was Shi Rong and Prince Enli's fault." Xie Lian shook his head, and buried it between his knees, his voice exhausted. "And everything was going just fine too. When Qianqiu's father first ascended the throne, his first rule was to break the culture of oppressing the people of Qianqiu. The people of Qianqiu and the people of Yang'an finally experienced peace among each other for the first time. There was finally winds of change, finally a sign of integration, finally hope for leaving conflict behind, and Prince Enli had to pick that time to awash the gilded banquet with blood. That night, when he escaped and found Prince Enle, he was originally going to warn him never to stir up troubles again. Yet, after the last descendant of his royal house discovered his true identity, he excitedly grabbed hold of him, and asked him to join his grand scheme of revenge on recovery of their kingdom. His eyes were red with passion, his voice high with excitement. He first swore to spill blood at the gilded banquet, then annihilate Qianqiu and cause havoc in Yanyan. They would do this even at the cost of destroying the growing amity amongst the two peoples, at the cost of all the lives that remain from Xianle, at the cost of dragging all of Yang and royalty and common alike to the depths of hell. But in the end, what was killed was killed, what was murdered. However compelling the reason, the truth was he killed with his own hands an honorable king who had truly wanted to eradicate discrimination, and the last blood descendant of his family in this world. So, he deserved all the blame. Translator's notes. Enle means safe, peace to settle. Le means happiness, joy. Shi Rong was dissecting the words on their own and drawing his own meanings from them. End chapter.